So these are from the 1920s?
Yes, or earlier. Now what I want you to do, Dad, is look at your photographs when we get back home, you know, of any of the old stuff, and see if we end up seeing a picture of your grandfather's house, your dad's old house, essentially, when he was a baby.
When he was a baby. This porch has probably been added or enclosed or something.
Yeah, all that brick is not early.
You look at the foundation.
It's stone. Yeah.
It's stone, and those walls are older.
See,
Back there.
Dad, this porch here used to look. See that blue house? How the porch is all still open and it had two columns on both ends. That's how this house looked before they enclosed that.
Before they enclosed that porch.
That's too bad. I can almost visualize the sadness as they are leaving after your grandfather got killed in that accident.
And we came to Tulsa and moved on that straight to where my dad met my mother.
That's how come I remember. You took me there.
It is in downtown Tulsa. This wood floor. It looks like snow, but I guess those maybe are buildings over there.
Yeah, I think so. No move. Oh, now you're the person. Now you have to do what he's... No, that's not lined up at all. Your face is cut off.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
Okay, I just wanted to put the camera right there really quick and explain some stuff about the vlog that you've seen already because I didn't like talk the whole time on this trip that we did. So it is spring break right now, but it's the weekend, and then my classes start again on Monday. It's April 7th or 8th or something like that. I don't know. My dad and I went on a trip to Oklahoma, to Broken Arrow, but also Tulsa, Oklahoma. We went on a trip there to visit my grandfather, my dad's father. Most of the vlogs or videos on my channel that have my grandparents, it is my mom's parents. So my grandma, we call her Nani, and my grandpa, Nana. Those are the people that are mostly in my vlogs. Those are the people that I go on trips with. My grandma that you see all the time in my vlogs on trips, like to Ireland, she was in my vlogs, to London, to New York, all that stuff, it's always them. So this time, it was going to see my dad's parents. Or not his parents, because his parents are divorced. It was his father and his wife. We call him G-Dad, and he is kind of losing his memory. I don't know if he has Alzheimer's or maybe dementia or something. I'm not sure. He hasn't been like diagnosed with anything, but his memory is pretty bad. And he remembers a lot of past things, but it kind of comes in and out, and he knows a lot of stuff. He's very knowledgeable or whatever, and he likes to talk about things that he knows, but he doesn't remember things sometimes that have happened in the last couple minutes, or maybe that day. He'll forget something that happened, or the last couple days. And I feel like as we were there, we were only there for we were there for 3 days, I think, 3 or 4 days. But the longer that we were there, it seemed like the worse his memory was getting. Either it was that just being there longer, I was starting to notice it more, or it just got worse because he was getting more tired, because he usually takes naps every day and he didn't get to take the naps because we went on all these adventures and things. But overall, the trip was cool and it was fun. I haven't seen him in a long time, since his 80th birthday, which was a couple of years ago. It was back when, not like a long time ago, but back when I had like bleach blonde hair. Not last year's bleach blonde hair, but before that, and before I grew it out and then cut it off. So it must have been in 2014. Must have been 2014 when I last saw him. But I think he's gotten worse since then, his memory. But before, I didn't really hang out with him that much. But this time we stayed in their house and we drove around. We went to see, you'll have seen the clips already. We went looking for my grandfather's grandfather's house from like the 20s. We found that, and then we were looking for his father's house, also from like the 20s and on, but we couldn't find that one. And what else? We saw some council tree or something that has to do with the Native Americans. We talked a lot about how, because I live in Georgia, we live in Georgia, sort of outside of Atlanta, and the Trail of Tears was when, which if you are American, you probably know about it, when the Native Americans were forced to move out of Georgia and some other places, and they were forced to walk all the way to Oklahoma. And so we talked a lot about that. So we went to find this council oak tree, which I should look up more. I don't know really how to explain it, but I think it was when some Native Americans decided to start the city of Tulsa, basically. That's when it happened? I'm not sure, but if I am wrong or I'm saying something, I will put some information, which you probably have already seen, on the screen. So yeah, we saw that. We drove around Tulsa a little bit. We went to dinners, but it was pretty fun. The house was really nice. I found a live stream of Mr. Rogers on Twitch, so I've been watching that every once in a while, and I would watch that every night. So now I associate, this is what happens to me, like I get nostalgic or attached to a place based on the things that happened or the things that I did or things I was listening to or watching when I was there. So now I'm getting attached to their house because I keep thinking about the happy little time I had watching Mr. Rogers in the bathroom. Like, it's so weird. I get attached to places in that way. But yeah, so I'm thinking about that trip. Now I'm thinking about Mr. Rogers. Besides all of that, that's the most I can explain about that situation. Oh, also we went to a museum. You saw part of the museum. But so that was that trip, and the crazy thing about the trip, which was the crazy thing that we did, was we literally drove from here to there. We drove there. That was like the first time going. It was like 11 hours. I think it's an 11-hour trip, basically a little bit over 11 hours. But you gain an hour when you go there because the time zone jumps backwards, and then you lose an hour coming back. So it was like 12 hours coming back, but I think it was the same amount. It just like said 12 hours on the GPS because we lost an hour when we came back. And so yeah, we drove that whole way. It's a terrible idea, but we did it. We survived both ways. But anyway, we survived that craziness. It was insane, but it was an interesting trip. And so that's basically just an explanation of the clips that you just saw. But this trip was intense on many levels. Funny, kind of sad, and stressful and exhausting. was a trip of intensities, but that's cool.
It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling. You're growing inside, and when you wake up ready to say, I think I'll make a snappy new day. It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling. The feeling you know that I'll be back when the day is new, and I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. You always make each day such a special day. You know how? By just your being you. Only one person in the whole world like you. That's you yourself. I'll be back next time. Bye-bye.